after Charles II was restored to the throne, England saw a revival of the theatrical arts. It also saw the entry of women into a world previously inhabited by men. Women as playwrights, women as actresses, women as spectators. In the 17th century London, Aphra Behn was the first woman to earn her living as a writer. She was almost certainly the earliest to gain sufficient popularity to allow her to succeed as a professional playwright. She was the most prolific Restoration dramatist after John Dryden. She mastered virtually every literary genre of her age, poetry, fiction, and translations, demonstrating for the first time in literary history that a woman could compete on the same footing with men as a literary profession. Virginia Woolf regarded Aphra Behn as one of the most reverential writers for providing her female successors with a valuable voice. Behn's works were a clear and unique exploration of race, gender, and sexual agency. They challenged uprightly the expectations from a quintessential Restoration comedy by bringing bold women who dared to speak on stage. This is exemplified in The Rover or The Banished Cavaliers, first premiered at Duke's Theatre, Dorset Gardens, London on 24th March 1677. Produced and published in two parts in 1677 and 1681, based in Naples and Madrid respectively. She openly flaunted her gender and expected the same treatment as was provided to men. In The Rover, Behn's provocative challenges to gender assumptions as well as the originality and vitality of her unconventional perspective are evident. As a playwright, she wrote plays that reflected historical and cultural aspects of the Restoration from a female perspective. Behn's play, The Rover, was debuted during the height of Restoration period, which for theatre meant more female agency on the stage because women were allowed to take on female roles for the first time. Behn placed the action of her play in Spanish Naples just before Lent in the midst of Carnival, which is a setting fit for emphasizing the urge to break free from societal constraints.
In The Rover, Aphra Behn has presented us with three important female characters, Florinda, Helena, and Angelica, who hold the agency in their hands in the entire play. In contrast to the conventional writing style of male dominating the play, Aphra Behn hands over that power to the females. Through the stories of Florinda, Helena, and Angelica, Behn integrates strong elements of feminism and libertinism by focusing on issues of marriage, self-identity, and representation. Each of these character types represents a different aspect of a woman's struggle to define herself during the Restoration. The male characters like Wilmore, Belville, Don Pedro, and Antonio act as foils, thus further enhancing the roles of the women in The Rover. Aphra Behn very cleverly molds her female protagonists into the three boundaries of virgin, nun, and prostitute, which were the three social roles defined for women in the Puritanical as well as the Restoration period. However, the play is representative of how the females dissolve these boundaries and go out to live their lives in freedom. We get the hints of female agency from the very beginning of the play when Florinda and Helena act against Don Pedro, their brother, and voice their opinions against Florinda's marriage to Don Vincentio. Florinda is expected by her father to marry Vincentio and is expected by her brother to marry Don Antonio. her choice is not of any esteem to the males of her family. She is expected to act in accordance to her family's prosperity, whereas her love and feelings are of no value. But she does not remain silent and ventures that her youth, beauty, and fortune should not be thrown away on Vincentio's age and jointure. As a woman who is to become a nun, Helena has no rights to talk in a lover's conversation. However, she rages against Vincencio and even affirms that adultery and wasting one's life in the vows of handmaid are far better than such a wedlock. Helena, for the liberated woman she is, she wishes to become the lover of a handsome fellow before she is cast to a life of penance. These women come forward as not merely subdued, sophisticated women. They appear to be in charge of their life, love, and sexuality. The carnival and disguises act as highly important in giving the woman this freedom to choose and love. Florinda going against her brother and taking part in the carnival is her first step towards taking control in her hands. The carnival disperses the females from their defined roles of virgin and nun and allows them to be mad as the rest and take all innocent freedoms. Their disguise of the gypsies also frees them from the cultural expectations of manner and behavior. Florinda and Helena succeed in capturing the hearts of Belleville and Wilmore respectively with their wit and speech. Wilmore even vows his faith and love to Helena and promises to meet that night. Florinda also conveys her plans of escape to Belleville through a letter. It is evident from these scenes that the women are in full control and they are the ones leading the males in the plot. Angelica Bianca, the third female protagonist, is a sexually liberated woman and is of the mental freedom to sleep with any man of her choice. But somehow this liberation affects her social status. Her job prevents her from getting the taste of true love, which she craves. Through Angelica, Aphra Ben shows her readers the void that existed between the virgins and the war. The virgins were not sexually liberated but maintained a standard status in society, whereas the whores lived their life on their choice but failed to maintain their position in society. The mistreatment of Angelica's love by Wilmore is proof again of how reckless and pleasure-induced men were to disrespect a woman's faithful love and even disregard her feelings as she is a prostitute. But unlike the damsels in distress, we find Angelica standing up to her cause and trying to avenge her heartbroken state by holding a gun at Wilmore. On one hand, where we find Angelica trying to seek revenge, we find Helena fighting to win back her love. Both of them dress up like men in their own actions. Angelica masculinizes herself and holds a gun, whereas Helena dresses up as a man and blames Wilmore for his unfaithful heart and makes him vow to devote his heart to her.
The argument that broke out between the two friends, Don Pedro and Don Antonio, also took place due to their want of Angelica Bianca. Hence, a female again acts as a pivotal point in changing the bonds and relationships. In the entire play, Florinda encounters a lot of situations where she had been on the verge of being raped. Fate played such tricks that her own brother, Pedro, was on the verge of raping her. This shows the double standards of men and the lack of self-control and chivalry. The plots of rape had been included by Aphra Ben to establish the conditions of the actresses in the Restoration period, where the women on the stage were considered to be sexual objects. In spite of such instances, Florinda's continuous drive at getting married to Belleville gets accomplished at the end when they get secretly married, hiding from her brother Pedro. Lucetta, a minor character in the plot, was defined as a jilting wench who robbed Ned Blunt of all his belongings, consisting of his clothes, money, and prized accessories. Hence, we can infer that sexual pleasure could be used by females to lure and trick the petty, foolish, pleasure-addicted males. It represents the control that female sexuality had on man. She appeared to fit the schema of a crafty courtesan. Maybe Ben didn't want to neglect the existence of such women in the society as well. Concluding, the heroines of the play, The Rover, work towards gaining agency for themselves, and in order to achieve this goal, they often astray from the cultural norms of femininity and encroach on the masculine world. The play shows a fluctuating and evolving sense of femininity. When trying to trace the contrasting portrayal of women in The Rover, it can be comprehended how, in their personal manners, they shared a similar odyssey of self-discovery and assertion withstanding their defeat. However, in the end, the question still remains whether the agency of the women acted in any way to liberate them. Ultimately, Florinda and Helena are cast back to the roles of wives, and Angelica remains a prostitute who has no place as a true lover. Even though they took the freedom to shape their future, they could not step over the foundations of the society. They could establish agency over their males. However, the society still remains disgraceful of the choices of women.